Wow. Wowzy, wow, wow, wow. Hello to the BFOD squad. Welcome back to Barrelful of Daryl podcast, episode 45. You guys ready to hear about some music and movies and some other funky ass shit? Ready or not, here we go. First, let me give a shout out to my European listeners, especially in Germany, the Netherlands, and Finland. Thanks for listening. And to my listeners in Frankfurt, you've been with me a long time. Drop me a note if you would please. Like to hear from you. So last week I left you with the quote. Actually, it's a lyric. In the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey. And of course, that's from the song Loser by Beck. And last week my brain was kind of soaked in snot and really didn't realize I'd given you another lyric from the song Loser by Beck. But sorry about that. Here's a movie quote for you. Why is he calling me meat? I'm the one driving a Porsche. Okay. Music. You guys heard of Hank Williams? He was born in 1923 in Butler County, Alabama. Now, Scratch Ankle is in the budding Monroe County, directly to the west. It's cool, huh? Well, he was a singer, songwriter, and a musician, and is regarded as one of the most significant and influential musicians of the 20th century. Now, the Country Music Hall of Fame stated that he set the agenda for contemporary country songcraft and is the standard by which success is measured in country music. He's also known as country music's first superstar and the father of country music. His songs are brutally honest and written in the language of every man. And my dad, he was a big fan of Hank Williams. And I grew up listening to him on the hi-fi stereo. And over the course of my life, I have always owned his greatest hits album. Now, he recorded 55 singles that reached the top 10 on the country and western charts. One of my favorite songs by him is called Move It On Over, which was his first hit and is one of the earliest examples of rock and roll music. In fact, it was famously covered by George Thorogood and his band, The Destroyers. Now, here are a few other of his hit songs, which you likely have heard. Your Cheating Heart, Hey Good Looking, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, and Jambalaya. Well, sadly, he was an alcoholic, and he was born with spinal bifida, which caused him lifelong pain. So he also became addicted to painkillers as well. On New Year's Day in 1953, he died in the back seat of his car while being driven to a show in Charleston, West Virginia. He was 29 years old, And like Buddy Holly, his influence was and is still huge. Posthumously, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Plus, he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And he was awarded a Pulitzer Prize special citation for his craftsmanship as a songwriter. Now, his songs have been covered by uncounted artists over the years. So much talent and influence from a young man who grew up near Scratch Ankle, Alabama. Now, you may have also heard of his son, Hank Williams Jr., also known as Bocephus. And he is famous for his brand of outlaw country music. He also recorded an album of duets using the recordings of his father. It's pretty cool. You may have heard of some of his hits like A Country Boy Can Survive, All My Rowdy Friends Are Coming Over Tonight, and Family Tradition, which is my favorite song by him. Now, the song All My Rowdy Friends was used for 4 years as the opening theme song for Monday Night Football, and it earned him 4 Emmys. Now, you may have not heard of Hank Williams' grandson, known as Hank III. He is the son of Hank Jr. and has recorded and released music in the genres of outlaw country, hardcore punk, and heavy metal. Now, I prefer his outlaw country music, especially the album Straight Out of Hell. Great songs on there. So I'm going to drop songs from all 3 of these Hank Williamses on the playlist, and please enjoy. And now a word from our sponsor. I'll be right back.
Well, hi, y'all. My name's Minnie Pearl Mayberry, and I'm the teacher for all the dear children here in Scratch Ankle, Alabama. Well, not all of them are dear. God bless them. Some of them are just stinkers, especially the older ones with their BO. Now, I teach in a one-room schoolhouse, all grades 1 through 12. And it ain't as easy as you might think, but somehow I've managed for 38 years. Anywho, the reason I'm talking to you today is to let you know about a PTA bake sale. And this is a yearly fundraiser, and the proceeds go to buy new books and supplies for the students. Now, the best seller we have here is Ethel May's Possum Pies, but she only bakes about 4 of them, so you need to get here early. Other popular favorites are Johnny Ray's Crawdad Pies, and he uses freshish crawdads straight from New Orleans. We also have Abram Ray's Rabbit Muffins and Jenny Mae's Biscuits with Squirrel Gravy. And boy howdy, Tina Mae's Rutabaga Turnovers are to die or kill for. So come on by the schoolhouse. We just 2 blocks east of the Piggly Wiggly on Main Street, and grab some of these good victuals. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
And we're back. Let's talk about a movie. One of my top 13 movies. It's a great movie. It's called, it's a baseball comedy. And it's called Bull Durham. Oh my God, I love this movie. Watch it over and over. It's released in 1988, and the setting is a minor league baseball team called the Durham Bulls. Now, Kevin Costner stars as Crash Davis, a veteran catcher and constant minor leaguer. He has been assigned to train Ebby Nuke LaLoosh, a rookie pitcher who is being primed for the major league, played by Tim Robbins. There's a bit of romance in this film as well, centered around a baseball groupie played by Susan Sarandon, who pits these guys against each other. Now, the story arc is short, but there is mucho hilarity along the way. The Durham Bulls suck, and they are in the basement of the minor league standings. Now, the rookie star pitcher, Nuke, arrives, and he and the catcher, Crash, are constantly at odds. But it's Crash's responsibility to train him for the big show. And ultimately, the training sinks in, and Nuke goes on to the majors. So that's the story arc. Now, the pitcher Nuke is known for having $1 million arm and a 5-cent head. And Crash constantly calls him meat. That's a major hint for you per my introductory question. So what makes this movie stand out are the scenes in the dugout and meetings on the pitcher's mound. All very hilarious. In one scene, there is a long meeting occurring on the mound, and many of the players keep walking up to the mound to join. So the manager walks up to see what's going on, and they are discussing the wedding gifts that they should buy for a player and his future bride. Nothing to do with baseball. Now, in another scene during a game, Nuke is on the mound, and he keeps shaking off Crash's signals. Crash goes to the mound, and Nuke says he wants to bring the heat, to which Crash replies, this batter is looking for the heat. He wants to tee off on it and embarrass you. But Nuke persists, and Crash relents. Crash calls him meat as he leaves the mound. And when Crash gets back behind the plate, he tells the batter, here comes the heat. After the batter hits a home run, Crash walks out to the mound, and Nuke says, it's like he knew what was coming. Crash says he did know because I told him. Now, the groupie Annie convinces Nuke to wear garters and to breathe through his eyelids like an iguana during the games in order to get him out of his own head. As he's trying to get the garter on in the locker room, Crash walks in and looks at him. He says, the rose goes in the front. Later on, the players in the dugout nonchalantly say, oh, he's wearing a garter, like it's an everyday thing. Now, this is one hilarious film, and I urge you to give it a watch. It's currently streaming on Prime Video, Tubi, the Roku channel, and Pluto TV. And be sure to tell them that Daryl sent you. Word of the day. Before I get into word of the day, I got a vignette for you. So, Logan, my grandson, is spending the weekend with me. Hi, Logan. And we were listening to my podcast from, I guess, 2 episodes ago. And the word of the day came up, and it was fenestration, which is the arrangement, the architecture of windows and doors in a building. And before I could say it, Logan says, defenestration, the act of throwing someone out of the window. And just after he said it, I said it in the podcast. Pretty freaking amazing. I love it. Logan, smart boy. We also discussed some of our favorite words like apt, adept, adverse, utile, and veracity. All good words.
And atrocity.
And atrocity. Thank you, Logan. So the word of the week this week is bioluminescence. You've probably heard of it. It's a chemical reaction. A light emitting molecule called luciferin reacts with oxygen, and it's sped up by an enzyme, luciferase, to release energy as light. Now, this is found in jellyfish, deep sea fish such as the anglerfish, and it's also in fireflies, squid, and glowworms. And it's primarily used to either evade or attract prey, or to attract love, as with the firefly. That's what Logan told me anyway. Now compare that to fluorescence. Fluorescence is the property where a substance absorbs light at one wavelength and instantly re-emits it as light at a longer, lower energy wavelength, causing it to glow. Cool shit, huh? Joke of the week. That tickles. What tickles? My testicles. Yeah. Question of the week. Now, last week I asked, what is the deepest point on Earth? And right away, Logan said Mariana Trench, which is correct. There's a point there in the Mariana Trench called the Challenger Deep. Now, Mariana Trench is located in the western Pacific Ocean near the Philippines, and it's 7 miles below the surface, and it experiences crushing pressures, making it one of the least explored environments on the planet. Now, the pressure there is about 1,000 times that of surface pressure, sea level pressure. So that's about 14,000 psi. That's a shit ton of psi. Now, fish and other life do live down there, but damn, they are odd. And there's a lot of bioluminescence down there. You can imagine, pretty dark. New question of the week. What is the highest point on Earth? Logan and I discussed that yesterday. We'll get back to that next week. Thought of the week. Do not make snow angels in the dog park. Yeah, that's a good thought. That's some good advice. So don't forget about the Barrelful of Daryl playlist floating around out there. This is getting huge. On Spotify, it's up to like 200 songs. As usual, you may contact me by clicking on the Send Me a Text button in the episodes, or directly at bfodpodcast@gmail.com. Also, don't forget, because I won't let you forget, that the podcast episodes have an option to support my show. Now, this is a feature that allows you to send me a couple of dollars a month. No big deal. And I can scrape together those dollars and buy me a 6-pack of beer or whatever I come across, the local gas station. So thank you for listening to this episode. I hope that you were entertained, and I will talk at you again more next week. Bye for now.